Okay, guys, you ready to get this going? Good evening. Thanks for coming out this evening. My name is Suzanne Lawler. I am from 13 WMAZ. Happy to be here tonight. This is a very educational forum. I think we're going to get a lot of information tonight. We're going to have some lively information coming our way, so I think it's going to be good to go. So let's get right into it with the introduction. All right. The introduction's over. Let's get to the forum rules. Let's get right to it. Okay, here are the rules. This is an educational forum, not a debate. Okay, we're just going to answer some questions tonight. It's going to be pretty cool. All candidates are expected to be courteous while other candidates are speaking. I don't think we're going to have a problem with that. I've spoken to everybody. Everybody's really nice. 3, candidates will each be given 2 minutes in which to introduce themselves and state why they wish to serve on the Monroe County Board of Education. 4, education-based, nonpartisan questions will be asked. This is really interesting. Questions were submitted by the public through email and the Postal Service. As many questions as possible will be asked in the time allowed, but we do have a full room tonight. Number 5, no candidate has had prior access to the questions. Priscilla delivered these questions to me last night, and they have been guarded by a toddler. Yes. All right. Number 6, questions will begin with District 1, and subsequent questions will rotate with each district. Each candidate will have 90 seconds in which to respond to each question. I do have to ask that you guys do keep to the time, or I'm going to have to start telling bad jokes and talking over you. It's going to be terrible. Okay? Number 8, after all questions have been asked, each candidate will have 2 minutes in which to make a closing statement. And number 9, all candidates will be given a copy of all questions after the forum. All right? Now, I'm going to make a quick introduction. This is just an introduction to give out the names. You guys will be doing your own introductions. But in District 1, on the very end, Cherie in the hot pink. Very nice. Welcome. District 3, Mr. Greg Head, Melissa Mixon. Number 5, District 5, we have Robbie Jenkins and Christy, which is my wife's name, Christy Varnado. And District 7, Eva Bilderback and Dr. Rick Langford. Welcome to all of you. I hope we have a very good evening this afternoon. All right, each candidate was sent 2 emailed invitations to participate in this forum. The 3 candidates from whom no response was received were then sent the notices by certified mail using the address they had provided to the Georgia Secretary of State. Let's introduce our timekeepers tonight. Dr. Margie Bryant. There you go. Carol Ann Pitts-Evans. They're shy. And Annie Stewart McCrae. All right. All right, let's begin with the opening remarks. In 2 minutes or less, please introduce yourself and tell why you wish to serve on the Monroe County Board of Education. And we're going to start with Ms. Cherie Battle.
I want to serve on the Monroe County Board of Education because I have 32 years of teaching experience. I've also served in many classrooms in Monroe County for 10 years. I served as an adult education teacher through Central Georgia Technical College, and now I'm a teacher at Burris Correctional Facility for adult education. The main reason why I want to be on the Board of Education is because I'm experienced in education, I'm dedicated to education, and I'm passionate about education.
Thank you so much. We're going to move on to District 3. Mr. Greg Head.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I've been serving on the board now for the first term and really enjoyed it. I've lived in Monroe County all my years, 45 of them, and graduated from Mary Persons in 1996, so I'm not overly old there. So raised my family here, planted a business here, very engaged in the community. This is where I grew up. This is what I love. And one of the things, especially in business, getting young people to engage not only in school and extracurricular activities, but getting them ready for college and the working career. It's something that's close and dear to my heart. As of right now, my labor force is waning just like everyone else's is, and I think education in the school system is primed to supply that workforce. We have a great school system, which we've worked at diligently, and it's ready to supply the workforce and college and the military. So it's a wonderful school.
Thank you very much. Melissa Mixon.
Good evening. I just wanted to say that I'm running for District 3, and I chose to do this because I've always been involved in the school system since my kids first started school here. We're not from Monroe County, but we've lived here since 2005, and since our kids started here, you know, like I said, I have been involved. I've been on the PTA, I've been the PTA president, I've been a parent volunteer. I have been highly involved in every aspect of their education since 2011. My boys are now 15 and 13. Drew goes to MP, he's in 9th grade, and Corey is in 7th grade at Monroe County Middle School. Like I said from day one, it has been important to me to stay involved because I feel like public education is vital. And for me to be comfortable in that regard, I wanted to have the trust and faith in our school system. And in doing that, putting myself out there and volunteering and trying to help make it be the best that it could be was something that was very important to me. Besides being involved in PTA and parent volunteering, I have been involved in all the sports programs that my kids have been a part of. They are football, baseball, wrestling, soccer. They play rec sports. I serve on the rec board. I'm a coach at the rec department. So every bit of my extra time goes to the children of our community and the school system and the community in general. That's always been a big part of me and who I am, and I want to continue to be a part of this community and make a difference. And I think that if you vote me for District 3, you will see that I am completely dedicated to our, to our school system.
There goes the time. Thank you so much. All right, let's move on to District 5. Let's start with Mr. Robbie Jenkins.
Yes, my name is Robert Jenkins, and I've lived here in Monroe County for 57 years, my whole life, and I work for Georgia Power Plant Share. I've been employed with them for 37 years. I'm an operations specialist at Plant Share, where my main duties are reviewing and revising procedures, and I'm also an instructor for new people coming into the operating department. I'm married to my wife, Cynthia Jenkins, who's sitting out there in the audience, and we have 3 adult children, Olivia, Nathan, and Leah, and we have one 9-month-old grandson, Mitchell. And me, including my 3 kids and 2 of their spouses, all attended the Monroe County school systems. And I've had a lot of experience with the school systems. Me and my wife stayed very involved with the school systems where our children were in school. And I plan on being involved when my grandson gets into the school system. And I want to be able to make a positive influence. I will say this, I believe when our kids were in school, the school provided excellent educational resources, extracurricular activities. And I have proof of that today. I've got 3 well-rounded adult children that graduated from the high school here in Forsyth. And so my thing is not wanting to change anything. I think the educational side of the schools are doing very well. I want to continue to see the schools do well and even maybe do better. I know that we're rated very high in the middle Georgia area, but I think we could even be better. So
All right, thank you so much. Moving on to Ms. Christy Varnado.
Good evening. My name is Christy Varnado. I'm married to my high school sweetheart, Alex Varnado. We have one child. He attends T.G. Scott Elementary. He's 4. I graduated in 2008 and went on to Middle Georgia State University, where I got my undergrad, my bachelor degree in English, and began teaching at Howard High School in Bibb County in 2015. I loved it so much that I stayed. That's why I'm still there 7 years later in the same classroom. A couple of years ago, right before COVID hit, I got my master's degree in curriculum and instruction and accomplished teaching from Valdosta State University. Most people know my mama. She's down here in the front, Nikki Sykes. She coached color guard and taught at Hubbard Elementary School for quite a number of years. I decided to run for the Board of Education due to the problems that I see in public education as an educator. Not that there's necessarily a problem with Monroe County schools in general, but I do see as a state and as a nation that there are problems in the education system that will snowball into Monroe County eventually, and I want us to be prepared for that. We are facing a teacher shortage nationwide. The teacher pipeline is crumbling, and we do need to prepare our kids not only for college but also for the career industry as well. And I want to make sure that we have those pathways available to all of our students. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
appreciate that. Okay, and District 7, we start with Eva Bilderbeck.
Good evening. I'm Eva Bilderback, and I've been married to my husband, Mike, for 22 years. And I retired from the post office in November of 17. I was just 3 months shy of 31 years. I have 4 kids. My oldest son is a 20-year Marine vet, and our youngest daughter that we adopted, she was a little gift from God unexpectedly at my age, but she's in the 4th grade at T.G. Scott. I have 7 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. And I've been on the board 15 years. I'm in my 16th year. And I've seen the school system go from in the 30s to number 9 in the state. And that's awesome in itself. It's the testament to the Board of Education seeking and, telling Dr. Hickman that we want the best teachers, because we need the best teachers and best qualified teachers to teach our kids. Y'all, our kids are an asset, and we need to put them first. And even though our board doesn't always agree, we do always agree that our kids come first. And I've been on this journey through these almost 16 years, and I would like to continue. That's why I want to continue serving on this board, because it has been awesome watching this school system just continue to move forward. And I want to be a part of that. And with a daughter in the school system and a reason to be a part of that, I want to continue. And I want to see our school system go from number 9 to number 1. That's not a hard place to go from where we're at. But then when you get to number 1, you might have to start going down. But I don't think so, because we have an awesome administration, and I know that we can keep moving forward. And I just want my constituents to know that I want to be there for them. If they need to call me, I want to be where they can listen and be the voice.
All right, sliding right in there. And Dr. Rick Langford.
First, let me say thank you to the concerned citizens of Monroe County and the Monroe County Retired Educators Association for hosting and sponsoring this event tonight. And Suzanne, thank you for convening us and being our convener. I'm married to Kim Moody Lanford. We've been married for over 40 years. We have 3 daughters, 2 biological and 1 that we adopted. She was our foster child. She was an African-American girl, and it made our life, our family, interesting. I want to say amen. My platform is simple: to make sure that every child in Monroe County is provided the available resources to reach their educational goals and aspirations in a safe and wholesome environment. And the reason why I decided to run for the Board of Education is that I was encouraged during the last election by some of our civic leaders here in the community. At the time, I was serving as a district superintendent in the United Methodist Church. I had over 100 churches and over 150 clergy that I had purview over, and I tell you what, my time was zero. But now I'm appointed to the Georgia United Methodist Foundation, where I'm a regional vice president. My board chair and my president CEO have thoroughly encouraged me to run. In fact, I was with my bishop earlier this morning, and he said, I'm so proud of you for running. So I'm here. I want to serve. I love our community. I feel the need to give back to what the school system gave to my daughters. I have the time and energy for the betterment of the work for the school. I'm a graduate of Oxford College, Emory University, Candler School of Theology of Emory, McCormick Theological Seminary up in Chicago. My doctorate's in pastoral care and family therapy, a doctorate of ministry, and Mercer University too, the medical school, some of the courses that I took there. I feel I've been known, I'm trusted, and I love to serve. And so I look forward to having the opportunity to be elected and to serve.
Thank you so much for your introductory statements. I do have to say, Miss Priscilla said, "What can we do for you when you come up here?" I said, "Could I have a Diet Coke?" It's 2 hours. And she was like, "Sure." So just bear with me while I put it back here. I know it's going to fall off the cooler. Okay, we're good. All right, once again, you guys sent in these questions. These are your questions. So let's get right into it. We're going to go right along there, and then we're going to switch it up between, okay? First question. And we're going to begin in District 1. Ms. Shree, please share your philosophy of public education in 3 sentences or less. But you do have the 90 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
My philosophy is never stop learning. Education is a valuable tool that can open many doors. And it starts with you as a person. Education provides opportunities for growth, and it also provides opportunities for you to grow as a person. So that's always been my philosophy, never stop learning. I would always I wouldn't say punch it into my students, but that was something that I would always say. You can never stop learning. It's always there in front of you. When you read directions to bake a cake, you're learning something. When you're learning how to use a camera or fish, you're educating yourself. So you never stop learning. So that's always been my philosophy. And I think I'm going to carry it with me to the grave. Never stop learning.
Thank you so much. Moving on to District 3. Greg? And I'd be happy to repeat the question for any of you guys if you want me to repeat it during this, okay?
Go ahead and repeat.
Okay. Question 1, please share your philosophy of public education in 3 sentences or less.
I think it has a lot to do with our school motto is, learn, grow, and succeed. We've worked on that as a board, putting that together with the mindset of young people learning and growing so they can succeed in the real world. Knowledge is power, and when you grow in your knowledge, you have the power just about to do anything you want to do. If they can't get that in education and public education, where are they going to get it? We want to teach our children the truth and the proper way of learning in the aspects of whether it's math and science, biology, whatever it may be. And if you can teach that truth, they can go out in the world and make proper decisions in life. And if we don't teach them the proper way here, they may end up learning it the wrong way somewhere else. So we have a duty to protect our young people into making these judgments and these decisions, and we want to make sure they have the tools to do it correctly.
Thank you very much. Melissa?
As I stated before, I've always been a strong believer in our school system and public education. My husband and I both went to public school, and after public school, we both attended the University of Georgia, where we both graduated with honors from the University of Georgia. I feel like if you have a strong foundation in your public school system, then you need to participate in that school system and continue to grow it. I feel like public school, as opposed to private school or homeschooling or any other school methods, is a good way for children to be able to adapt to real-world scenarios. They kind of get a little bit of everything at public school, all backgrounds, all views, opinions, political backgrounds, all of it, all rolled into one, to where they have a full-blown experience of the real world. So I completely believe in the public school system, and I think that with staying involved and being on top of things with your children, that you can build the most out of the public school system. I have witnessed my children both grow and prosper in this school system, and I feel like this has been the best decision for us. And I think that most kids in our school system, because we offer vocational and college-bound options, man, I'm a talker. I'm sorry.
Well, the bells didn't go off, but thank you very much. All right, moving to District 5. Robbie?
Yes, I believe my philosophy is education starts at home. And I believe the word says, train up a child in the way they should go and they'll not depart. So I believe that the initial training or education starts in the home. It's very important for parents and grandparents and anyone that has a special attention to that child really needs to get involved in that educational process. So for me, my first philosophy is you start at home. Start at home with the children. And then I believe it's important for the schools to give the children a very secure environment, an environment where they feel free that they can achieve their fullest potential. I think that happens by not putting a lot of extra stuff in the way of the core curriculums that they need to learn. I know in today's society, the schools across the country are being bombarded with different agendas and thoughts and philosophies that are not educational philosophies. And I think that's really a weight on the children. And we need to free them up from that and let them just learn in a very secure, positive environment. And then I believe the community as a whole, you know, sometimes people say, well, my children are not in school anymore. I don't have any grandchildren. Well, training still keeps going. And
Thank you very much.
as a community, we need to
Appreciate it.
continue
Thank you
to
so
support
much
them.
for finishing up. All right, Christy?
Sorry. 3 sentences, yes, ma'am? Is that
Oh,
the
yes.
question?
Please share your philosophy of public education in 3 sentences or less.
I believe the ultimate goal of public education should be the 3 E's when they graduate. You should be enrolled, enlisted, or employed. That's it for me.
Thank you so much. District 7, Eva Bilderbeck.
Okay, well, Greg stole mine, Learn, Grow, and Succeed, because Dr. Hickman and I saw that at a school board convention. But just the other day, I was reading to second grade class and come across 2 words that I didn't know what they mean, and I don't even know why they gave one word to the second graders, because it was ptarmigans, and it started with a P. So I was not pronouncing it correctly, so I had to get my phone and ask Google. So I looked at them and I said, see, we're never too old to learn, and we're not. Y'all, by reading, you do come across words that you've never seen or heard of before, and thank goodness we do have Google to help us pronounce them, but, you know, we learn every day of our life. I mean, there's always something, even if it's just an act, we learn by seeing others or by doing and learning it the hard way.
Rick?
Education is the foundation of our democracy. I love the mission statement, learn, grow, and succeed. But I'd add 2 more. You got to be able to listen in order to learn. So I would put listen on the front end, then learn, grow, succeed. But then I'd add another one, a 5th one, lead. That's what we want our children to do, to grow up in a world where they can come back and they can explore, they can become anything they want to become by being participants in receiving a quality education here at Mary Persons. Listen, learn, grow, succeed, but we need them to lead. Number 2, we need to increase parent participation. In order for our school to maintain the quality of education that we currently have and voice from them to best serve our children here. And then lastly, our teachers are our most valuable resource for our children. I'm sitting here looking at two of my daughter's teachers, Miss Woodward and Miss Pippin, and I thank them all the time for what you gave my girls, because the world was open to them because of you. They listened, they learned, they grew, they have succeeded, but now they're leading. So thank you.
Okay, in full transparency, we are moving on to question number 2, and it's going to go like this. It will be District 3, then District 5, District 7, and then District 1. So here's the question. Monroe County is facing rapidly increasing growth in population. How can the Board of Education prepare for rapidly increasing growth in student numbers? And we begin in District 3. Greg?
Being prepared is obviously key, obviously. We can look at our growth, we can look at our tax base and the residents that are moving in. And some of these things you have to forecast also. So it's very difficult to do that sometimes, but, and the bad thing is you have a tax base as far as your monies that are coming in, property taxes, and you've got to work off of that until these great people come in to move in our county. So it makes it even a little more difficult. The one thing that I think it does entice a lot of people is our schools. We've had some...
It happens.
But preparing for that growth, one of the things I'd like to see us do is, and I think we're heading in the right direction, is improving our athletic facilities. That's something that we're adamantly having to work on right now. And as you know, as we improve our athletic facilities, it brings in more children and more people because of that. Because when kids are engaged in athletics and extracurricular activities, they do well and they want to do well in school. So you want to see our grades improve and things like that. Have our kids engaged, and that also engages the parents, which is so desperately needed in so many aspects.
Thank you very much. Melissa?
Could you repeat the question?
Absolutely. Monroe County is facing rapidly increasing growth in population. How can the Board of Education prepare for rapidly increasing growth in student numbers?
Honestly, I'm not sure how we can prepare, besides that we know it's coming already. And I've heard from so many people, just knowing that I was running for this position, that have said, we need a new elementary school, we need a new middle school, we need a new high school. Are you going to be about that? And at this point, I'm not involved enough in board decisions and budgeting decisions to make that call. However, I've been involved in many boards where we create a budget and figure it out, and I feel like SPLOST money is going to come in, and that's going to be a big thing. And for budgeting, we need to work on increasing where we need to. We need to increase the money where it's needed, whether it be in a new elementary, a new middle, a new high school, however it plays out. That all needs to be kicked around a good bit in determining, because the numbers are absolutely growing, and we don't want to be busting at the seams, because larger numbers in schools, and the teacher-student ratio is important. And if kids are kind of falling through the cracks because the class sizes are too big, that's going to be an issue that comes with the growth. So we need to just figure it out now with budgeting.
Thank you. Moving on to District 5. Robbie?
Like what's already been said, I think we're going to have to make our schools the best. And like I said earlier, I think they're very good now. But like Greg said, we're going to have to, and Eva said earlier, we're going to have to make them number one. And then we can get those folks coming in that want their children to be a part of the school system. And that's going to increase the tax base. And I personally am a fiscal conservative. I think it's very important to look at the money that's already coming in and make sure it's being used wisely, and the priorities are in the right order, and we're just not haphazardly using money here and there, but that the priorities are in the right order. Education is definitely the most important, and then I can see extracurricular activities, athletic and academic coming in there. But we're just going to have to take what we got and make the best of it. And I believe we can, as a community, come together and make some of the best decisions that's going to benefit all the children and any that's planning on moving into our county.
Thank you very much. Christy?
Thank you. One of the ways that I think that we should prepare for the rapid growth that I've seen just in my time since graduating in 2008, we went from 4 stoplights around the courthouse to now I think we're working on 7 in the county. I've seen a lot in that amount of time. Anyways, I think we need to be partnering with the local colleges and maybe throughout the state to get those teachers to come to Monroe County. We can have all the population that we want to here, but if we don't have the teachers to teach them, that's a bigger problem. You can have all the money, but if the teachers aren't coming in to teach, that's a bigger problem. I think partnering with the local community colleges, teacher programs, making sure that we have the warm bodies in the classrooms, the highly qualified staff in the classrooms, as well as making sure that we're partnering with the community. We've always had so many small businesses throughout Monroe County to sponsor the Bulldogs in all of their ways, shapes, and forms. I mean, the softball teams, the football band when I was part of it, everybody always pitches in Forsyth, and I know that that's what's going to happen in the coming years.
Thank you very much. Eva?
Yes, as being on the board already, we do talk about the number of students we have, and we usually have a 5-year plan, and we're always looking ahead to try to prepare. And you can't just budget for a school. You have to make plans. You have to get with engineers. You have to, look at what it's going to cost. And now with the price of materials going up, you're talking about a lot of planning, a lot of meeting with different people to make this happen. And we are keeping up with the numbers, and we are trying to plan for the future, and we're just trying to stay ahead of that.
Rick?
Thank you. It's called projection planning. Plan your work and work your plan. Also, through what we call a SWOT analysis, you look at what your strengths are, you examine, make sure you identify your weaknesses, you look for opportunities, and then you look at your threats. And Monroe County has every opportunity to continue to succeed. As Ms. Bilderback has already shared, to go from 30 to 9th in the state, wow, that's awesome. But I also think it's all about relationships as well. You need to be able to work with, this board needs to be able to work with the county commissioners to look at feasibility studies. We need to look at census reports, and we get that information ahead of time so we can plan for the future. If we don't have a plan, then we will fail. And I think the best plan that we can have is to plan for our children.
And thank you. Moving over to District 1. Sheree.
I think Dr. Langford took my words, but we need to look at and evaluate the growth in our districts and estimate what we can do in the future. Of course, all of this is not going to happen within the next 2 or 3 years, but we can plan. We can make a plan, look at the numbers, estimate what we need to do, and focus on those things. Also, we need to make our stakeholders and our constituents buy in to what we're trying to do. Because I've heard a lot of people say, I don't have any children in school. Why do I have to pay school tax? Well, school tax is important because that tax pays for that child to get a good, solid foundation in education. So my thing is we need to make our stakeholders and our constituents know that that is important. They're the ones that's going to keep our communities, our city, and possibly our state going. So I think that is the main thing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all of your answers. And moving on to question 3, we will begin with District 5, move to District 7, District 1, and then District 3. So here is the question. What experiences have you had with leading and educating students? How will you lead the school district in a way that prepares and benefits all students? So we begin in District 5. Christy?
Can you say that one more time?
Absolutely, sure. What experiences have you had with leading and educating students? How will you lead the school district in a way that prepares and benefits all students?
I do this every day in my classroom. That's probably my best experience. I've also been a teacher leader since I've basically started teaching. I'm department chair. I work on the leadership team at my school. It seems minor right now, but I was captain of color guard when I was in band. No, honestly, adults are not so different from kids. We all learn differently, we all listen a little bit differently, and we all have our own idea of what's right. And hearing everybody is probably the most important thing that I could say, is making sure that everybody is heard, and making sure that everybody understands that even though our opinions might be different, it doesn't mean that they're wrong. Because your experience is much different than mine, is much different than anybody else's. So that's how I try and lead my classroom. That's how I try and raise my child, and that's how I would try and lead the board in the school, is by making sure everybody is heard and that everybody is respected and that we do our best to work as a team, even though everybody in here has a different thought on how things should go.
Thank you very much. Robbie?
Could you repeat that one more time?
Absolutely. Question number 3, what experiences have you had with leading and educating students? How will you lead the school district in a way that prepares and benefits all students?
Well, like I said earlier, on my job, I am a instructor/trainer, so I do have some knowledge in curriculums and setting up curriculums for, of course, they're adults, they're not children, but it's sort of the same, and I do believe that it is important to, once again, to produce that environment, you know, and sadly, it's a large task, I think, to accommodate everybody. It would be hard, but I think we would try and strive every way possible to make that happen realistically. I don't know if you can please all the people all the time, as the saying says, but I would definitely be supporting trying to please as many as I can as a board member. And I think it still boils down to those core curriculum classes. I think it's important for those children and young adults to be educated, to learn the core curriculums and have access to extracurricular activities. And I think that part of it can be met if we all just work together on the board.
Thank you very much. Rick?
Okay, thank you. Well, I was appointed to the Methodist Children's Home for 20 years. We served over 125 children there. And while serving those children there, we realized that some of our children were being expelled from the school system because of bad behavior. They weren't bad, they just did bad things because bad things happened to them. Are you with me? And so we decided that the best thing that we could do was to build our own school, which we did, the Price Educational Academy. And we did it through generous donations. We collaborated with Bibb County Schools to work, and we hired Bibb County school teachers and collaborated with them to offer our children the best possible education that we could give them. What happened then is that if they acted out in class, we would take them out, place them with a therapist or a school counselor, and within an hour they were back in school learning where they needed to be, not being suspended for 3 days. So, I applaud what we're doing here today for this board and everything that we're doing. I have a working knowledge of understanding board policies and procedures, being fiscally responsible for managing million-dollar budgets, experience in leadership by chairing the Good News Television Board, and several other nonprofit boards and agencies. So I just appreciate y'all being here, and thank you.
Thank you. Eva?
Repeat that.
Absolutely. Question number 3. What experiences have you had with leading and educating students? How will you lead the school district in a way that prepares and benefits all students?
Well, when I was in North Carolina, when I was there then, they didn't call us paraprofessionals, but I was a teacher's aide. And I remember my first day, I had bought a bottle of Tylenol because I was sure I was going to need it. And there was this one little boy that just kept acting out. And come to find out, his mom and dad were going through a divorce. And that little boy really just wanted somebody to give him some attention and let him know that he mattered. And even on the school board, we have to let our constituents know that they matter, and hopefully they pass it on to their children, that we hear you talking, and we want to respond. And we want to be able to come alongside the teachers and let them know that we don't always know what you need, but please feel free to let us know, because we can't determine what you need if you don't tell us. And we want to be there for our community, and all of us working together is what makes the school system better.
Thank you very much. Moving to District 1, Shuri?
I've been on a lot of councils and leadership positions while teaching, but I think the most important thing that really helped me was my administration. I had an administration that was always there. I mean, you could just go to the principal's office and boo-hoo and cry, and they would just let you boo-hoo and cry. Then I had an administration where you could go to the principal's office and just scream and yell and just be out of whack, and they would just sit there and let you get it all out. Then we could discuss it. Those are the things that I think builds a good rapport within the school system. When you have an administration, even a board, that will allow you to get this out, because we're people too. We're human. We go in and out all the time. We're with children day in and day out. And sometimes before we go home to our own families, we need to just let that out and just, say, okay, I understand what I'm asked to do. I understand what I'm supposed to do, but you need to listen to what I'm going to do. And so all of that has really helped me as a person in educating students and educating adults, and I'm going to be quiet.
Thank you very much. All right, moving to District 3, Melissa.
Okay, while I have never educated students, I kind of leave that to the teachers, I have always been a voice for all students with my involvement in the PTA board, on the rec board. Most people in the community who know me come to me with any kind of questions or grievances or issues that they may be having, so that I can be a voice for them and for their children. I've always been very big on being a voice for all children and not just any certain group, whether it be, the Beta Club or the this club or the this. With budgeting stuff with PTA, it was always about what was going to encompass the most students and not be, targeted for a small group. Because just like our school system focuses on no child left behind, I feel like in leading by example and by educating our kids, that's something that we need to follow as well when we're considering how we help these children in our community. I've also always been a very friendly face to all of the children in our community. I've had students, it's sad in one regard, but it's also very heartwarming and makes you tear up in another regard, with volunteering for book fair and, working, watching the kids eat lunch so so the teachers could have a duty-free lunch. They've asked if they could come home with me. Sorry, I've run out of time again.
Thank you very much. Greg?
Thank you. This is a friendly face too now, so it's a really nice face. But hey, as far as I'll tell you this, the parents, you are the first teacher these children have. The parents have a huge responsibility, and that's the first teacher, okay? Some of the things that I've done, teaching Sunday school is enjoyable. Seeing the aspect of children learning is very gratifying. Some of the things that I've taken part in was even dressing up as Cat in a Hat every year, going around the schools reading books, and I enjoy that. You might get laughed at a little bit, but that's okay. But it's for the kids, and they enjoy it. You talk about the literacy aspect of it. Kids need to have fun and enjoy. If they can enjoy and have fun while they're reading, they're going to want to do it more. Supporting the CTA program, I do that with my BOE salary. I enjoy doing that. It's something I care about and am passionate about. To sit up there in front of the construction class and just talk about all the avenues of different careers and the possibilities that are open to them when they go into these different pathways is, almost limitless, and really enjoy that. One of the things that I really would like to work on is teacher authority in the classroom. We've got great teachers, obviously.
Thank you very much, Greg. All right, we have no intermission here, but if you want to stretch, feel free, because I'm going to grab a sip of Tyke. That was a quick intermission, wasn't it? All right, moving on to question 4, and we will start with District 7, followed by District 1, then District 3, and District 5. So here is the question. Educators must consider development of the whole child. How should the Board of Education set and implement priorities among vocational, academic, athletic, fine arts, and extracurricular opportunities for students? Eva?
Well, I think, you have to give each child different opportunities. There are no two children alike. Not every child's going to be athletic. Not every child's going to be, talented to play an instrument. So we have to offer a variety of things to reach each child. And it's important to reach each child because every child should be important to the board members. We need to search out ways, and we need to listen to what our children want. And one of our things I think we did a phenomenal job was the Fine Arts Center. The children spoke how bad they needed something besides this room right here, and we rose to the occasion. And it's been phenomenal what it's done for our community and for the kids. And like I said, each child deserves an outlet, something that makes them feel special.
Thank you very much. Rick?
Extracurricular activity.
Maybe if you could kind of tilt the mic. There you go.
Repeat the question one more time.
Absolutely. Educators must consider development of the whole child. How should the Board of Education set and implement priorities among vocational, academic, athletic, fine arts, and extracurricular opportunities for students?
I know that if our children want to go on to higher education, they have got to participate in the extracurricular activities that our school offers. One of my daughters, she was very talented in dance, and she made the cheerleading squad, and we were so happy and elated, and she also did the debate team. One of my other daughters didn't make the cheerleading squad. Can you imagine being in a house with one daughter who did and one daughter who did not? But I know this, that Mary Persons offered other opportunities for her. And there are also going to be children who are going to struggle in school. One of my daughters did, and I thank God for the teachers who, because of the relationships that they had, they were able to further them and give them hope. And so it makes the whole child.
Thank you so much. Let's move to District 1 with Sheree.
I feel that the Board of Education can develop the humanities, extracurricular and vocational studies, and that schools and corporations, businesses are now searching for students who are outside of that, I guess, smart kid in the books mentality. They're looking for a well-rounded person, someone who can not only be smart with the books, but that can also get along with people in general. And I think extracurricular activities, vocational activities, also the humanities and things of that nature, the drama and all of that, will allow the students to excel in those areas, and we can develop them in those areas.
And we move to District 3. Greg?
Go ahead and repeat the question again, please.
Absolutely. Educators must consider development of the whole child. How should the Board of Education set and implement priorities among vocational, academic, athletic, fine arts, and extracurricular opportunities for students?
Okay. I think the school does a great job with what they have, especially through the CTAE program that, like I say, I've been a part of. It's very enjoyable to get to do that. The Achievement Center is one of the things that we have that is something that's very valuable. Not only is it credit recovery, but it helps excel those young people that do have any problems or issues that may come up that we can get to work with and get them to a point where they can graduate. Our numbers there for graduation are astounding. They're awesome. You know, the other thing I think we could probably do maybe a little bit better job is maybe securing more funding for children with disabilities that come in. There's a need for that, and doing excelling that program. Being able to teach proper values and keeping children on track, making sure divisiveness stays out of our schools, like CRT, that has no place in education, especially K through 12. I think that's something that we want to ensure that we can, especially keep our children online with making sure they have the right priorities and the right tools that succeed in life.
Thank you, Greg. Melissa?
As far as development of the whole child, I think that our school system has done a pretty good job of offering a wide variety of opportunities for each and every child to grow and learn to the best of their abilities with our vocational and college-bound tracks. I think that there are some ways that we could improve with minorities, like children with IEPs. I feel like we need to have a better grasp on children falling through the cracks, that we need to focus in when there are children with learning disabilities and that have issues, that parents and the students and the teachers, all teachers of that child, need to be involved more so than they are currently with developing the best plan for these students. I feel like the goal for every child in our school system should be to graduate with a purpose, whether it be on the vocational path or college-bound. The purpose here is to get an education and to have the next step. So I feel like developing the whole child on any path is very dependent on the child, but I feel like we have a lot of the programs in place to do that.
Thank you very much. Robbie?
Yes, I'd like to say that, just sitting here, I was telling Christy before we got started that I was the last graduating class that went to
You could bring that microphone a little bit closer.
The Old Mary Persons High School. That was in 1983, and I can remember many fond memories up here on this stage. And that's a testament to the school system. Even when I was young, I believe that the teachers and the parents, they were there to support the students. I do think that support and love is what a lot of children want. That's what they want more than anything. And I'll go back to that, having that positive environment where they can learn and not feel just overwhelmed and stressed with outside forces is so important. I was thinking of some things earlier. You know, I saw where the school, and I guess it still has it, the junior ROTC program. I think that's great. I read the newspaper weekly, and I see where they even have a fishing club now. I thought that was pretty interesting. So there's a lot of things, I believe, that is offered to the students here in Monroe County, and I think that's so important because, you know, life is not just about the studies. It's about the activities outside the studies, being part of a community, being part of a group, and I think that we just need to continue to.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Christy?
Educating the entire child. Okay. This is a data-based question for me. This goes back to us looking at our CCRPI scores that are reported to the state. That's going to tell us where we are with our test scores. We also have, I know public schools do a student health survey usually every year, and the district gets that data back as well with how children are feeling, whether they have attempted suicide or thought about suicide or had an anxiety attack because of a test. All of the students, and this goes, obviously that's more of a high school level question for our students, but our younger students also take the health survey. When we get that data back, that needs to tell us where our priorities lie. I know PBIS is already in our schools. My school actually came over and I believe my principal shadowed Dr. Finch at one point in time because Mary Persons was a distinguished school in PBIS. So I know that we're doing great things there already. I know we have Leader in Me going on in schools. That's another way for social emotional learning to make sure that we're getting our child educated. I know everybody says it starts at home, but not every child has that privilege. Not every child has that positive environment at home.
Thank you very much. Everyone is doing a great job. We are moving on to question 5. So here we go. We are going to begin with District 1, followed by District 3, then District 5, and District 7. Question number 5 is this. What are the 3 best characteristics of Monroe County schools? And what are the things the school system, the 3 things the school system needs to improve? Cherie.
The 3 best things in this school system is, number 1, support from not only within the schools, but within your community. Number 2, I would think, are the parents. And number 3 are the children. The children are the most important seed that we have because as a former educator and still a teacher, you can still take that seed, water it, watch it grow and develop, and then it can become the best vegetable you ever saw in your life. So I think that those are the 3 pluses in the school system. I'm trying to think of some things that we can improve upon. Basically, the school system is great. It's number 5, and as Mrs. Bilderbat said, we went from number 30 to number 9. So we have all kinds of pluses, but we do need to look more into our special needs and developing that program just a little bit more. I think special needs teachers deserve a halo, a special halo when they get to heaven, because when you're dealing with a special needs child, you're really a good person. And they have to deal with personalities and everything day by day.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Moving to District 3, Melissa.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Absolutely. What are the 3 best characteristics of Monroe County schools, and what are 3 things the school system needs to improve?
I think that the 3 best characteristics would be that we have, well, this is kind of all-encompassing, but we have great parents, we have great students, we have a great community. I feel like we're one town, one family, and to me, that's so amazing, and I've tried to tell my kids how amazing that is, because I came from DeKalb County and then moved to Gwinnett County, which are obviously bigger counties, and you didn't run into people that you knew out and about. And here, it's everybody, it's kind of like the show Cheers. Everybody knows your name. It's important to me, and I feel like my children will appreciate that as they get older, that's what this town is made of. It's made of people who come together when there's a family crisis, when there's a fire, when there's a car accident, when there's a child facing cancer, a parent facing cancer, any kind of medical issues. This town pulls together like no other. And to me, that is absolutely amazing. And it stems from our school system, from the closeness that everybody knows everybody, and everybody, you know, participates within the school system. So I think that's great. And then I also think that we're pretty awesome at, as we've discussed before, offering many different career paths for our students, because no two children are the same, and everybody has their different, you know, loves and.
Thank you very much. Greg?
Yes, it's mainly community, really. Parents, the children, and the curriculum, really. My son plays on the Mary Person baseball team, and one of the things that you get to see is camaraderie there. We've had some sadness in our baseball team with some deaths of students that hits home, and to see how the community and the students really pull together and come around each other and support each other and love each other. You don't get that in a lot of communities. You don't get that in those huge communities. You get that here, though. So that's something that's you can't beat. You can't beat it. The curriculum here in our school, I think, does a very good job. There's some improvements that could be made there. You heard me talk about facilities, athletic facilities and building facilities, and planning for those. That's some of the things that I think we all know we need some upgrades, and it's going to cost money, and it's going to cost time to get it done. And putting a very good plan together to get that done is key. And I think that's something that needs quite a bit more work.
Thank you very much. Moving to District 5, Christy?
Let me get the microphone. There we go. Community sport obviously is a glow for me. Highly qualified faculty and staff that we have here in Monroe County is absolutely wonderful. And when I was looking at the CCRPI again, our expenditures per student is actually below the state average, but we're one of the best school systems in the state. So I think that's pretty awesome that we're spending less than the majority, or the average anyways, and we're doing better than most. I think for me, a grow would be our graduation rate. Our dropout rate at one point in time, this was about 20 years ago, most of my friends were close to or did drop out. Granted, they went on to do great things, but there just wasn't enough in Mary Persons to keep them there. They had their vocational skill set, they went to Barney Poole's class, and then they left. So I think our graduation rate, we're a small town, and even 30 kids not graduating, for me, that's too many. That's 30 too many. We need to be working better on that. Our test scores among minorities is surprisingly low. African American students are tending to score lower than the white students are. Again, if you look at our CCRPI from 2019, which is the last data poll that we had, and then a career academy is a growth for us as well.
Thank you very much. Robbie?
Yes, I believe that first and foremost, parental involvement, the accessibility of parents to the school system, whether it be through volunteer services or just being able to approach the administration or the school board and let their thoughts and concerns be known. That's always been very impressive to me with the school, that they do allow that parental involvement. And I think that's so important because it's a team. It's a teamwork we're looking at here. It's not just the educators, but it's the parents also. And they have to work together to see the best results from the students. Number two would be the education options we have here at Monroe County. Of course, when I was in school, we had what we call college preparatory classes, and I'm sure there's something still the same that they have today that prepares them for college, but there's a lot of students that just don't desire to go to college, and they have that opportunity to go through some vocational and technical classes. And I'll tell you, as working with Georgia Power, I've seen some of our best employees. They're homegrown. They come right out of Monroe County schools. They've gotten a good foundation, and you know, like I said earlier, the schools are doing it right. We just want to keep it in that direction. Negative. And we talked about it earlier. I hadn't been on the school board, so I can't really talk a lot about any negatives. In the future, I can see
Thank you so much.
the budget being an issue.
Appreciate it. Rick?
The three pluses that I would like to point out, I concur with Ms. Battle. Our children, our parents, and our teachers. But I'd like to add a fourth, Suzanne, our school superintendent. Dr. Mike Hickman has a heart for our children. He practices servanthood leadership. And I've watched him in action. Our daughters, both our daughters were in school together, gosh, 20 years ago, Mike. And to have a school superintendent, he's like the quarterback for our team. The Board of Education, we're the coaching staff. And as we coach and look at board policies and set board policies and make sure that our school superintendent and our teachers adhere to those policies, that's how we continue to be a plus. Now, I feel the most important needs factor in our students' success is to be provided every opportunity for them to gain knowledge and skills that allow them to further their education, either in college or through the CTAE program. And Greg, I appreciate your support in that. I'd be a strong advocate for college AP classes, dual enrollment. That would save a lot of money for parents who have children in college, I know. I'd also be an advocate for the career, technical, and agricultural education. We can accomplish this by integrating core academic knowledge with technical occupational skills that will prepare our students for post-secondary education and for the workforce.
Thank you very much for all of your answers. We are moving on to question number 6. And in this...
Skip me? You can if you
I'm
want to.
so
Fine.
sorry. I'm
don't
sorry,
mind.
Yvonne. My bad. Go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say that since my son's a Marine, I'm going to have to say that teachers are on the front line. They're the most important thing, and we have great teachers. But along with good teachers, we have good administration that makes sure they're highly trained, and they're always, you know, having classes and leadership classes for them to learn and grow. And that's important. That's the only way we're going to get better as a school system, is to support those teachers. And the other one is parent involvement. You know, sure, it can be better, but I see a lot of parents at the school volunteering, and I'm there. And then community. When we were handing out food, we had Volume Chevrolet and Walmart out here helping us hand out the food. That's important. That shows that we're a tight-knit community and we care. And the three things I think we need to improve on are, I wrote table talk because I'm just saying that teachers need to be able to have somebody they can go to tell them, you know, I'm having a problem, or I need this. And communication. Communication can always be better. And helping, working more with our special needs kids.
Once again, I apologize. Thank you
You're-
so
you're
much.
good.
Thank you
I
so
wanna
much.
I should let you get
Absolutely. All right, question number 6. And in this one, once again, we will go with district number 3, district number 5, district number 7, and district number 1. Question number 6. Male teachers, both minority and non-minority, are in low supply in Monroe County and statewide. How can you attract qualified male teachers at all school levels? Greg?
Thanks for allowing me to go first. Wow. I don't get to take notes or anything on this one, right? But yeah, male teachers in the classroom and the school system, it goes back to mainly teacher authority. Making sure we have that the authority in the classroom is there. When I say is there, that it's recognized, and the young people respect it and make sure they adhere to it. Sometimes it's difficult to do that. A lot of young students take instruction better from a female teacher than a male teacher, and vice versa. But you've got to really hone down on those students to pick out which ones, and the teachers work together on that. But those male teachers are adamant about having there and trying to entice them into coming to our school. It's just like me trying to hire more employees. If there's nobody knocking at that door, you got to go search them out. And that's one thing I think we do is when we go out to these colleges when they're graduating, we do put our feelers out and trying to snag some of those high quality individuals in. And that's one way that we definitely have to keep doing that, but they are absolutely important.
Thank you. Melissa?
Honestly, I do not know, have never thought about how we could entice more male teachers to come into our school system. However, I think that generally speaking, females carry those roles more across the board than males. It's just a predominantly female position in the scheme of things. More important to me is not how we entice them here, would be to do a better job of weeding through the applicants that we do get. Just this year, we had several issues with some male teachers that I know as a parent I was not pleased with, and hearing on social media and throughout the community, because as I said, this is a small town and everybody talks. That is one thing that I would push for, is transparency and trying to figure out what happened and putting forth the effort to appease our constituents who put their trust and faith in our school system to hire the best candidates in these positions that are fostering our children. I mean, to me, that's the bigger issue, not trying to find ways to get them in, is more to find quality applicants.
Thank you. Robbie?
Yeah, I really don't, I'm not aware of the ratio between male and female teachers. So I don't know what the disparity is if it's really that great or not. I know there was a time when I was in high school, I thought I would love to be a school teacher. I ended up not going in that direction, so I couldn't, for myself, imagine why someone wouldn't want to teach. But I do know that, you know, those who are wanting to go to college to be educators, they put a lot of time into higher education. And saying that, the school just needs to be very attractive to teachers. You know, whether it be the pay, the benefits, the structure of the school, the environment they have to work in, all that has to be positives. They all have to be pluses. It has to check every one of their boxes. And I think that's what we have to do. We just have to present them with the best school, the best administration to work with. And if there is a disparity there, I think that's going to get them in here, if that's what we need. Of course, I think female teachers do just as good a job as the male ones would do. Some probably do a lot better than the male ones would do. But I think if we want the quality educators, whether they're male or female, we just got to make it very attractive for them.
Thank you. Christy?
How do we attract male teachers to the school district? I think this goes back to there just being a teacher shortage in and of itself. We talk about having pathways in high school. I know Hutchins in Bibb County has a teacher pathway, an educator pathway. If we want to turn out, you know, if we want to have kids go out and be successful and get jobs, well, we've got some of the best teachers in one of the best school systems. Why not put them on the pathway to be teachers? And then they love their community so much, they come back here to teach. Why not that be one of the pathways that they could go to college for? Started out in high school, no different than we have the vocational classes, have a teacher pathway. One more thing I would say is that our coaching staff, I know it's really difficult to get a job coaching anywhere. I watch my colleagues do it all the time, and I know that's one thing that male teachers really advocate for is they want that coaching job, they want that athletic director job at the end of it. And I know in Monroe County, that's kind of a really hard thing to get into, and I don't know if that's something that we can work on maybe is opening up coaching positions, but I know that would attract more male teachers as well.
Thank you very much, Eva.
Okay. She kind of took what I was going to say, but I know that we have job fairs, and I don't really know how you go about, you know, wrangling the men in, other than like she was talking about sports. Most men want to be coaches or help with coaching, and only if we had a position like that open would, you know, that be an option. But you know, maybe that is something we could work on with some ideas to come up with on how we could entice males. But, you know, we can't really just say, I'm going to hire you because you're a male, but I'm like them. I want the most qualified teachers to teach my child.
Thank you, Rick.
If you watched the news the other night, the National Teacher of the Year was an African-American male. And it did my heart so good because now our children have a role model to look up to. When I was attending elementary school, and I think I'm the oldest one sitting at this table at Hurd down in South Bibb County, I can tell you every one of my teachers, all female. Miss Julia Vinson, Miss Sarah Willis, Miss Claire Bell Bryant, Miss Agnes Holt, Miss Laverne Cook, Miss Katie Averson, even Mildred Hull, the principal. It wasn't until I got to high school that I had a male teacher. And the male teachers, they took an even more active role. Dr. Joe B. Hill taught me history. Mr. Willie Brake, geometry. Mr. Alton Carr, algebra. But Mr. Griff Etheridge was my pre-calculus teacher. I would have never passed calculus at Oxford had it not been for Griff Etheridge. So providing male role models, I think is imperative for attracting more male teachers.
Sheree.
I agree with Mr. Langford again. I also think teacher pathways would be good to recruit male teachers, but at the high school level, I can honestly say we do have some great male teachers. They're math, ELA, history, and these are men that these students can look up to, and they can say, well, maybe one day I want to do that. And one day when I was subbing there, one of the teachers had left a little note and told me what to do and everything, and he asked me to sit with this specific student. And so when I did, the student would not work. He was just like scared. He was iced up. And I asked him what was wrong, and he said, "You're not my teacher." So that gave me a flashlight that said, okay, he relates better to a male teacher. And some of these guys, even though they want to be macho and they want to walk around the school and act like they're big and bad, they do look up to those male teachers. And I think Mary Persons has done a great job in recruiting and retaining their male teachers as role models for our students in the county.
Thank you very much. All right, question number 7, and we will begin with District 5 on this, followed by District 7, District 1, and then District 3. So here we go. This year, we'll see a larger than usual number of retirees, departures from the Monroe County Schools, and as a board member, How should the system work to recruit and retain employees in a nationwide teacher shortage? Kind of a vein on questions coming here from the public. All right, Christy?
Well, I feel like I've been talking about this all night. Oh God, where to begin? How to keep teachers. Well, I do appreciate that the board here recently did look into VALIC and a 3% to a 6%, what's the word I'm looking for here? Pension, and they're gonna back it. They're gonna double it. Match, thank you. Lord. Okay, they were talking about matching whatever the employees puts in, and obviously retiring, that's a big deal, but for me, I'm 32 years old, and right now I'm trying to pay off debt, and I'm not looking at retiring. For me, if you want an educator to stay, pay them what they're worth. And I know that you hear this all the time, but we did go to school for 6 years, some of us 8 years, to be educators. Please pay us for it. We love what we do, and we want to be there. It's where we want to be, and if you want to keep teachers, pay them for what they are worth. And that's pretty much
Thank
all I
you.
got for me.
Robbie?
Yes, sort of going back to one of my previous answers, we just got to offer them the best here at Monroe County. It is a shortage, so every school out there is competing to get the best educators. And I think Monroe County is definitely in the running for getting some of the best educators. We're just going to have to stay vigilant. And just like Christy said, we got to offer, whether it be a salary, a good benefits, a safe, positive atmosphere for them to work in, let the teachers teach. I've talked to some teachers just since I've been going around campaigning a little bit, and some of them feel overwhelmed. There's a lot that they have to deal with in the classrooms that's not what they went to college for, and they really shouldn't have to be dealing with all that. And I think you just let the teachers teach. The administration supports the teachers. The Board of Education supports administrators who support the teachers, and we just give those prospective new employees a really good portfolio to look at that's going to say, hey, I want to work for the Monroe County school system.
Thank you. Rick?
Our teachers are the most valuable resource that we have for our children. I appreciate our Governor Brian Kemp and the legislative branch in giving our teachers a very needed raise. Can I get an amen? I'd be a strong advocate for making sure that they're provided with necessary updated technology as well to teach and enhance our students for their future endeavors. I don't know about y'all, but these phones right here, it can be challenging for me. But for our students, they know how to operate this thing. And so we need to look at as many different ways to enhance those opportunities, to enhance those skills for our students with the available resources that we have here in Monroe County.
Thank you, Rick. Eva?
Well, I agree with him. We have to look at our budget, of course, and see if we can come up with different options, maybe some incentives, and going out to the job fairs and talking to them. And, we have to find out what people really want to become a teacher. How much are you wanting in pay? Because naturally, we have a budget. We have constituents that we have to watch our millage. We have to try to keep it, at a low level so we don't get in trouble. But at the same time, our teachers are on the front lines, and we want to treat them good.
I believe you have more time if you wanted it. You have it if you would like it. Okay, thank you so much. 42 seconds. Anybody
We're all
want?
saying the same thing.
All right, Sheree?
Well, I agree with Christy in that we need to pay our teachers what they're worth. A lot of teachers, when they come into a school with a job, with their certification, they have student loans out of this world. So in order for them to meet the needs that they have and also be responsible to our students, we need to pay them what they're worth. Also, I agree with Mr. Langford in that teachers are our most valuable asset. Without teachers, we wouldn't have a community. We wouldn't even have a life. Teachers are our most valuable asset. They bring everything into the classroom that they can in order to better our students and make them come back into the community and build it more. We also need support from our administration and the Board of Education and in offering recruitment packages at the teacher fairs. I mean, I've gone to 1 or 2 teacher fairs, and I've seen some of the recruiting packages that some schools have. Our system is small, but if we do like a comparison of other counties or systems with our student populations, maybe we can get a better recruitment package for our teachers as well.
Thank you. Melissa?
I agree with Christy, and I've never really thought about that, but her idea of having students go on the pathway to be teachers if they have that interest, I think is pretty brilliant, where you have upperclassmen that go into the elementary schools and, you know, shadow with the teacher and learn and go down that path. I think that's a pretty amazing idea. I also agree with teachers needing to be paid a little bit more, so obviously you have to work that out with your budget. I also highly believe in more support for our teachers. I've already heard from countless teachers that I've worked with through the years in volunteering who have pretty low morale at this point and feel like they don't have a voice, so they need somebody to be their voice. And ultimately, in dealing with the teachers as I did through PTA, you would be so surprised how little it takes to make teachers happy and have an improved morale. Just little things, you know, when they would help us with our PTA events and stuff, we would offer jeans passes or duty-free lunch where they could go and sit with their teacher friends and not have to watch their class. We would come in and watch their class while they ate, and off-campus lunch passes where, same, we watch their students. Teacher appreciation meals, breakfast lunches, you know, things like that mean more than you can imagine.
Are you guys, is that a signal over there for more time? Do you have more?
You were telling me that was
Okay.
it. Yeah, I thought so.
Greg?
All right, yes, pay is a big thing. Everybody wants to be paid what they're worth. Camaraderie and the support for the teachers is, I think is key. And to entice more teachers in, you're talking about bonuses or whatever you could do in addition to hiring is something to be looked at. Teacher retention is something that we're going to have to take hold a little bit more, try to see what incentives that we can do for that teacher retention. One of the things is just getting a lot of teacher input. I think we could probably do a better job of getting teacher input, such as, you know, if there's lesson plans that they're doing or duplicate things that they're doing, it takes a lot of extra time for teachers. They look at it and says, why am I making 10 duplicates of this one thing to send off to here, here, and here? I think it takes a lot of time. Teachers take enough work home with them as it is. They work at school, they work at home, they work on the weekends. I'll tell you this, you know, when my employees go out and work after hours, they get paid overtime. Teachers don't, you know, so it's tough to do that, and they work a lot more than you think. So a lot of support needs to be there.
Thank you so much. And with that, we have reached the end of the question phase of this, so we will move on to closing statements. We are going to start from the opposite end of where we started for the opening statement. So each candidate will get 2 minutes for their closing statements. Rick?
Thank you, Suzanne. Stephen Covey wrote a book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And his 5th habit, and it's critical, he said, seek first to understand, then to be understood. And seeking real understanding affirms the other person and what they have to say. And I think it's very sad that many times we here in married persons, even though we're number 9, sometimes we're like this big, beautiful sailboat. We have all the riggings. The wood is nice. It looks good, but it's not moving. And the only way to get it moving is for the crew to work together and let down the sails so that we can move forward. Opportunity to encourage us to move forward by developing students with the skills and the knowledge to succeed. It'd be an honor to serve, and I thank you for this opportunity, and I thank you for this forum tonight.
Thank you, Rick. Eva?
My reason for wanting to be on the school board is to continue with our school system's forward movement. I think we have been moving in the right direction, and with my daughter being in the school system, I want to see us continue moving that way. And we have a bedroom community, and I want to value that community, and I want to volunteer and be a part, and I do. You know, I love going to the schools and helping. I went the other day and just I had to count out 30 papers and clip them together in stacks for the milestones. And that's what we as parents and grandparents, we can do. We can go help the teachers out just to take some of that burden off of them. And that's what we should be willing to do. And as a school board member and as a parent, that's what I'm doing. And I will continue to do that and to serve my constituents and the whole community. It doesn't matter whether you're in my district or not, you're still important, and so are your children.
Thank you, Eva. We are going to move on to district number 5. Christy?
Honestly, I'd like to thank y'all for putting this on for us tonight, and for you hosting. I very much appreciate being given the chance to speak. We've discussed many issues tonight, but not nearly as many as we're going to see over the coming years. On May 24th, you'll make an important decision. This decision will affect our children and community for years to come. Please consider what you've heard here tonight and who has the professional knowledge and experience to help continue the excellence our school system has already achieved. For me, I want to make sure that you understand I'm running for the Board of Education not necessarily to change, but because I see change coming and I want to be there to help with the change that is coming. And for far too long, we've had people making decisions that directly affect our students who are not necessarily educators and who have not been in a classroom in very many years. We need to make sure that the decisions that are being made benefit and ensure the future for our students, our teachers, and the community. Thanks.
Thank you, Christy. Robbie?
I'd like to say that it's my opinion tonight that everyone up here on this stage, we have a common interest. We want the best for the students of Monroe County. I hadn't heard anything really negative tonight. The school has just got a very positive reputation. From the outside looking in, I rarely read or see anything negative about the Monroe County school system. That's a plus. I've got 3 testimonies. My children. My son, he left Mary Persons, went to Georgia Tech, graduated with high honors. He's an electrical engineer now. My daughter, she's a medical sonographer. She went to college. My youngest daughter chose to take a different route, and she went more vocational technical. But the school gave them a good foundation, all 3 of them. And so I can't see any big negatives about the school system, and I want to be on the board to continue that trend. I tell you, honestly, I think it's going to take parents and teachers together. You know, we really get out of our students and children what we're willing to put into them. And it starts at home, And it's important for us as parents and grandparents to get involved, and it's important for us to stay involved in the school systems. But honestly, for me tonight, it's more about, I don't care what your political affiliation might be tonight, but I'm sure you all are aware of the strong push by some groups in society that want to force their agendas on our schools and children. I don't believe that most of the citizens of Monroe County want that. And I know I don't. And I'm willing to stand in the gap. I believe we should let our teachers teach, and I think we should let our students learn. And if y'all let me to the Board of Education, I'm willing to stand in that gap and make a difference.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Robbie. And let's move on to Melissa.
I wanted to thank you all for coming out tonight. After hearing about my involvement in our community and our school system, I hope you will see how important Monroe County schools are to me. These children need strong advocates to help our school system continue to be the best that it can be. I have the time, and I've always had the heart to volunteer for the community that my family is fortunate to be a part of. I think I could be an important asset, not only as a parent, but also as a community leader. I am here to listen to all of Monroe County, regardless of your district. I can be your voice. If you have any additional questions for me, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm available by phone, email, Facebook. I have a BOE page. It's kind of lengthy and wordy, so I know you won't remember it, but you can find me. Just look, Melissa Mixon, BOE. Again, I appreciate you all coming out. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Greg?
Thank you. I've been here all my years, my 45 years. I've got a wonderful wife and 5 kids I raised here. My parents came in from, my dad was a Boilermaker. That's how we arrived here in Monroe County years ago. He worked out in Plant Share. Industry brought us here. You know, my 5 kids are being raised here. Everybody looks at me and says, man, you got 5 kids, really? I say, yeah, that's what happens when you have a good woman, see? This is a place to raise a family. And we need to be on guard, I think, what we bring into our schools. I think that we all want to be for the betterment of our schools and our children. How we do that, I think there's some different ideas, and that's the difference. You hear a lot of people talk about family. You know, we're all family here. We want to agree on everything. We're not going to agree on everything. You know, there's some family don't get along, but we still love them. You know, so but you're not going to berate them. You're not going. You're still going to love them. Okay, but one thing I will tell you is we do need leaders. More so, we need servant leaders, and that's what I tell you I will be. I'll be a conservative servant leader. I will stand against CRT, and I'll tell you right now, I will be very adamant for freedom of choice. That's utmost important. Parents' right to choose, and the family's right to choose in their education and take part in their children's education. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Cherie?
I have to say that I am not a product of Monroe County. Monroe County chose me. My husband chose me. The school system chose me. So I choose all of Monroe County as my own because basically this county raised me. I came here fresh out of college, didn't know a soul, saw one red light in the middle of the square, called my mama and daddy and said, please come get me. I cannot stay here. And so, with that being said, I appreciate each and every person here tonight. I appreciate the Monroe County school system. And if I'm allowed to be elected, I'm going to copy something or repeat something that I saw on the Monroe County Middle School website. I'm going to live to learn and learn to live, because working together as a group with the Monroe County Board of Education, that's what it's all about. We're learning to live so that our students will live to learn. Thank you.
I want to say thank you to all of the candidates. I mean, this was very positive. Thank you all for being very civil, very positive. Way to go. Good job, guys. Yes. And I want to say thank you to folks being out there. As a news anchor, we hear a lot about apathy. You know, you hear the voter numbers, you see it, and you guys sitting here tonight have educated yourselves. You've heard this is pretty raw. This is, you know, questions that you brought to the table. So I hope you got a lot out of it. I think I'm preaching to the choir here when I say be sure to go out and vote for the candidate of your choice. Election day, anybody want to yell it out? Anybody know it? May 24th. Okay, early voting starts May 2nd. Please be safe driving home tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.